My name is Jordan Turner.
My name is Jack Garrett.
Hi, I'm Emily DeMoy, and I'm a senior here at Averett School of Nursing.
My favorite thing about Averett is the family atmosphere. Here at Averett, you are in a class of maybe 10 to 15, so it's really a one-on-one. You really get to know your professors.
My husband actually came up here for a medical residency, and I was a lab tech, but I wanted to go back to school for nursing. I want to do more for my patients. And when I was looking at nursing programs in the area, I saw Averett. I heard wonderful reviews. I heard that they had a great program, so I figured why not apply? And here I am. Hey, Mr. Edwards, we're going to listen to your vows, okay?
As a previous Averett alumni, I knew that when I decided to go back to school to obtain a nursing degree, I knew that I wanted to come here to Averett. The small class sizes really set us apart. We get to know our faculty. I know working as a tech and being in the hospital setting now, I'm confident in myself. I'm comfortable with change and being uncomfortable in situations, and that's a necessary skill for nursing. All of our cohort has job opportunities lined up well before we are able to graduate. So we know that we're going to continue our nursing education further, even after graduation.
It's really great working on the sims here because it gives you a chance to really show off your nursing skills.
The one biggest takeaway from our simulation lab is that we get the support we need to increase our critical thinking skills and become comfortable with uncomfortable situations that will arise in our future nursing careers.
I like The Sims. It's a good way for us to get practice, to get feedback in real time. We actually kind of take it as an opportunity to teach each other, because if you can teach it, it means you know the skill like the back of your hand.
Shapiro.
All right, Mr. Shapiro, I'm going to put an armband on you, okay? Are you in any pain?
Can you hook them up to the EKG, Jordan? All right, Mr. Shapiro, I'm starting you on some oxygen. Fully this oxygen going.
His heart rate's down to 29.
All right, he's coded. I'm gonna call a code. Put it back now.
You start compression.
You can keep compressing while you're doing that stuff.
Shocking.
Did you see if you're like,
Mr. Shapiro?
Can you hear us, Mr. Shapiro?
Ow, that hurts.
I'm sorry. You just had a cardiac arrest.
all right, much better.
All right.
In the other room?
You just saw was us running a code simulation.
Brief before our simulation, then we run the scenario, and then after the scenario, we debrief and talk about things that we need to pay closer attention to, things we need to change, and then we can rerun it and try to correct issues that we had during our simulation.
One of our senior classes, that critical care class, teaches us the VTAC that you saw when the monitor was going off, and that we recognize that as an immediate sign that we need to start a code and start compressions.
And be ready for defibrillation.
Way it's similar to how you'll be in real life, where anything can happen. You can be talking to your patient, and suddenly, bam, code time. Staying alive with CPR.
Welcome to the Averett University Navigating a Nurse Degree Workshop. I'm JP Novin, the CEO of Plexus Student Network, and I'm honored and excited to serve as the moderator of today's event. Good afternoon and good evening. This workshop is scheduled to be 60 minutes long. Our meeting today will be divided into 3 informative segments. To kick things off, each of our esteemed panelists will provide insights for approximately 10 to 12 minutes on essential topics related to pursuing a nursing degree and careers. The second part is the question and answer session that will take place after all the panelists have presented. Please feel free to click on the Q&A icon if you have any questions. We have a group of experts that will be answering your questions throughout the presentations. Lastly, at the end of our session, we will highlight a few questions for our panelists to answer and discuss the process of qualifying for Averett's $1,000 and $5,000 scholarships. Now on to the important parts. I'm delighted to introduce 4 speakers, and we couldn't really ask for a better panel than we have today. We have with us today Dr. Teresa Beach, Dean of Nursing at Averett University, Leslie Sturdivant, Sovah Market Vice President of Support and Services and Engagement, Matthew Mann, Averett University Director of Admissions, and Andruw Cain, an Averett graduate and a nursing professional. Without further delay, it is my honor to introduce Dr. Beach. Dr. Beach is an esteemed figure in the field of nursing and the Dean of School of Nursing at Averett University. She holds a Doctorate of Education degree and a Master of Science in Nursing. Dr. Beach's remarkable career spans over 4 decades, during which she has made significant contribution to nursing education, administration, and practice. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Teresa Beach to present. Dr. Beach.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's my privilege to be able to share my passion with those of you that have wanted to come on and learn more about nursing. I want to talk a little bit about the profession in general. Some things you may or may not know or have heard. For the last 21 years, nursing has been seen as the most trusted profession by the public. And that is unprecedented. We've never had that, any other profession to have that esteemed place. And we take great pride in that. Nursing is so vast and large. There's lots of versatile areas that you can specialize so that you can either change to a lot of different things. Once you start, you're not limited. We have intensive care nurses, medical surgical nurses, geriatrics, which is dealing with the elderly population, labor and delivery, emergency nursing, pediatrics, which is the children, operative nursing, and neonatal. And when you're thinking of wanting to maybe possibly be a nurse, one of the things that would be important for you to think about it for yourself, you have to do some looking into yourself, is that you want to see if you really have a desire that you want to make your life's work to focus on helping people that are in need. And by making that decision, you will have the ability to make a positive difference, not only in other people that you take care of and interact with, but also in the total community itself. So I want to tell you a little bit about, as young people, what you can do during your high school years to be successful if you're thinking of wanting to go into nursing. It's not something that if you waited to be a senior and you decided that you could still do it, but it's better if you can plan it. It would make life a lot easier for you, and you won't have to spend as much time trying to get yourself positioned in the best place possible. So when you're looking at what you should be doing in high school to prepare for nursing, it's important to select your classes carefully and which classes would be most beneficial for you to take. So I'm presenting with you like for English, and you need basic practical and written communication information and skills. And you need to take English all 4 of your years in high school. And this includes composition, which is writing papers, which I know many people are not excited about, but that it's very important skill that you need as a nurse. Also, you have to have some literature to read about different things in literature. And these courses, you might think, well, I don't understand that, but they will help improve not only your communication skills, but as well as they help to develop your critical and analytical thinking abilities, which are critical and essential for nursing. Now, everybody's favorite, math. There's a lot of math that you have selection to take during your high school years. Algebra, trigonometry, calculus, statistics, geometry. You should plan to take a math each year, so all of the 4 years you're in high school. Nursing requires the use of math. It's critical in preparing and administering medications to patients. And you don't have to love math, but you certainly need to know how to do it. And lastly, sciences. Again, you need to take a science course all of the 4 years you're in high school. And they can be a variety: biology, microbiology, physiology, anatomy, physics, chemistry are all options. Nursing requires you to know about anatomy and physiology and a certain amount of biology. It provides the knowledge you will need to take direct care of patients. You have to be able to understand how the body works. Let's talk a little bit about nursing licensure of a registered nurse, and what does that mean to have a nursing registered nurse license? Licensure is the process by which a board of nursing grants permission for the person to engage in the nursing practice after they determine that that applicant has attained the competencies necessary to perform the scope of practice for the licensure. In this country, the competency is measured by something called the National Council Licensure Examination. For those of us in nursing, we call it NCLEX for short. And it is imperative that that is the unit of measurement for this particular esteemed thing to have a licensure. Now, as far as nursing goes, the minimum educational degree that is required for somebody to sit for licensure is an associate degree in nursing, or an ADN. And the thing about that, you can graduate from nursing school and you can receive a diploma, you can receive the associate degree, or you can receive the bachelor degree. But you can never practice as a nurse unless you pass that NCLEX examination, because that will determine whether or not they will give you a nursing license. And you cannot be a nurse if you don't have a license. So that's a critical thing. And when you're in the nursing profession and in school, the students, I'm sure later, Andruw will speak, that it's something that is talked about almost daily, is the NCLEX exam. Now, another thing that is open in nursing, besides just being a direct registered nurse, is you've heard a lot of talk probably about a nurse practitioner. And maybe I'd like to explain to you, what is a nurse practitioner? A nurse practitioner is undergoes advanced clinical education through a master's degree. So after you obtain your bachelor's degree, to go on to graduate education is where you would be able to specialize as a nurse practitioner. Nurse practitioners can also specialize in certain areas of interest. That is a wide variety as well. There can be family, emergency, certified midwives, mental health, pediatrics, adult gerontology, neonatal. Neonatal is usually the very small babies, usually less than a month old. And that's their specialty, is just that age population. And of course, women's health. Now, Averett University offers a master's in nursing program with 2 nurse practitioner certifications. We offer family nurse practitioner certification as well as emergency nurse practitioner certification. Now, I want to give you a little bit of numbers just to give you an idea we're post-COVID, and COVID did a lot of things to elevate the profession of nursing. But one of the things that we have to be aware of, just to give you an idea of how valuable we are, we always knew we were valuable, but now there's just much more out there in the media. In 2022, there was 155,000 RN graduates, including 73,000 of those, of that number, were from generic entry-level Bachelor of Nursing programs in this country. Not quite half, it's about 47% of the graduates. Registered nurse employment is expected to grow by 6% from 2022 to 2032, with about 193,100 projected nurses are needed every year. There is a current shortage in meeting that because we are not producing the number that is projected to be needed. You see, we graduated 155,000, and we're saying that at least 193,000 are going to be needed each year. So that is very important for us to realize that. The challenge for us in nursing education is to produce the best educated nurses, because research indicates that there are better patient outcomes. And that's what this is about, is for the best for the patients. There are lower mortality rates. That means there's a lower amount of death rates in patients, a lower readmission rate. That means coming back into the system, and shorter lengths of stay, which means when they are in our facilities, they do not have to stay as long. And all that data shows that healthcare facilities with a higher percentage of bachelor's prepared nurses enjoy the benefits of these particular things. Lastly, I'd like to say, why choose Averett for your BSN? The BSN degree emphasizes a diverse coursework, including mental health, social sciences, humanities, and ethics. This broader education equips nurses to address cultural and economic and sociological issues that affect patients in practice. Averett offers a lot of unique characteristics. One of the things that some of it was mentioned in the video is that we do have a smaller teacher-to-student ratio, which gives us more intimate and personal contact with our students, and we give them a large variety of experiences in order to practice in. And we do long-term care, which is like nursing homes, if you're not familiar with that term, hospitals, public schools, and mental health facilities. So they get a wide variety of clinical experiences. Graduates of our program are valued for their critical thinking and their leadership, their case management, their ability for health promotion, and versatility in inpatient and outpatient settings. Our program also is accredited. Accreditation is kind of like a badge of honor. Averett is accredited by the Commission on Collegiate Nursing Education. We shorten that and call it CCNE. And it's recognized by the U.S. Department of Education for quality education. So when you see that a program is CCNE accredited, that means that they are seen as quality. And there are several important things that had to be accomplished and done in order to receive the accreditation. CCNE accreditation extends to our master's program through 2026 and the BSN program through 2031. And you might say, well, the master's program, that seems like they got a shorter time. Our master's program was brand new, and so the maximum amount of time that they grant for that is 5 years, and we received the full 5 years at that time. And then for all other programs, the maximum amount you can get for a length of accreditation is 10 years, in which our bachelor's program did receive that as well. And the last thing I'd like to tell you about Averett that we're very proud of is that our recent BSN graduates, which were in May of 23 of this year, achieved 100% pass rate on their NCLEX exam. And I spoke earlier about the importance of that to obtain licensure. And our master's students graduated from our nurse practitioner program, and they got 100% pass rate on their FNP certification on the first attempt. And that's the important piece. It has to be on the first attempt. You know, all of our graduates have passed eventually, anybody can say that. It's that first attempt that they really look at. I am very proud and feel very privileged to have presented Averett School of Nursing to you. And I look forward to maybe later in the program answering any questions you may have. Thank you so much.
Dr. Beach, thank you so much. 100% pass rate. That's incredible. In an effort to highlight the nursing career pathway, we are so fortunate to have Ms. Leslie Sturdivant from Sovah Health in Danville, Virginia. Leslie Sturdivant served as the Market Vice President of Dean of the School of Health Professions at Sovah Health. Her educational background includes a Bachelor of Science degree from Virginia Commonwealth University and a Master of Science in Healthcare Management from Old Dominion University. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Leslie Sturdivant as our next speaker.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you all for having me, and thank you all for being here. So, who are we? Who is Sovah Health? Sovah Health is a regional healthcare delivery system serving communities across the Piedmont region of Southern Virginia, northern North Carolina. Our system, which is also a part of LifePoint Health, which is a national healthcare network, is comprised of a hospital with 2 campuses, one here in Danville and one in Martinsville, more than 20 primary and specialty care physician and imaging clinics, a school of health professions that Dr. Navin mentioned, and also physician residency programs in internal and family medicine. In addition, we're really proud to be an academic teaching site, not only for resident physicians, but medical students, nurses, nurse anesthetists, nurse practitioners, pharmacists, physician assistants, and other health professions. At any given time throughout the year, we have more than 200 students or learners across our market. And our system and our programs maintain numerous federal, state, and local licenses and accreditations. And when thinking about the value of a healthcare degree, there are many. A health science degree equips students with critical thinking skills, again, things that Dr. Beach mentioned, problem solving, communication, and research skills that are essential for success in any field, but especially in healthcare. But let's talk a little bit about the value of having a nursing degree. So research tells us, and you heard Dr. Beach say this, that nurses are the most respected professionals in healthcare today. And nurses will tell you that they can't imagine doing work that is more rewarding. And in addition, having a nursing degree today almost guarantees that you will have a job at the end of getting your nursing degree, and not just any degree. You will have a career making a very good salary with really good benefits and fringe benefits as well. And as a nurse, you'll have the freedom to work anywhere, domestically or internationally. You'll have the flexibility to take advantage of a variety of different career paths. When we are recruiting for nurses, we look for nurses that are compassionate and empathetic. Empathy allows our nurses to have a patient-centered approach to caregiving by being able to relate to what our patients and our family members are experiencing. And compassion really fuels that desire to help ease the pain and suffering of others. And these two skills together help build trust and confidence in our relationships with our patients and our families. And you will hear me say patients and families, because it's not just the patient that we're caring for, it's the patient and the family that we're caring for. And as nurses, you will find that it is the patient and the family that you're taking care of. And so we look for nurses that are also excellent communicators. You heard Dr. Beach talking about the need for English classes. Nurses communicate with patients who are ill, suffering, anxious, and afraid. Sometimes patients even have auditory or visual impairments and language barriers. And nurses educate patients and families. They advocate for patients and families. And nurses write care instructions and a host of other things. So no matter what their role, nurses must have well-developed verbal and written communication skills. When we're recruiting nurses, we also look for nurses that have good critical thinking skills, because the delivery of healthcare is complex and it grows more complex every day. So it's important for nurses to have well-developed critical thinking and problem-solving skills. So when a patient's condition rapidly changes, those critical thinking skills enables a nurse to recognize important cues and to respond quickly. We also look for nurses that are resilient and flexible because the day-to-day demands of nursing are many. And those that are able to bounce back or cope successfully despite difficult circumstances, and those that are able to handle situations and make changes to find solutions are going to be more successful, and they're going to provide a greater care experience for patients and families. And we look for staff who have a willingness to learn because healthcare is constantly changing. So nurses must be willing to constantly improve and expand upon their nursing qualifications and skills. And so recently, we are very fortunate and feel really proud to have entered into kind of a unique partnership with Averett University, where all of our full-time employees are able to participate in online Averett undergraduate and graduate programs at little to no out-of-pocket cost to our employees. Because again, our staff have to have a willingness to learn because again, things change very rapidly and constantly in healthcare. And we wanted to be able to provide a way for our staff to continue to further their education and to be those lifelong learners that they need to be, again, in a manner that was financially feasible to them. And then from a clinical experience perspective at Sovah Health, one of the things that we're really proud of is a nurse residency program that we have that focuses on developing knowledge and skills and really providing a safe patient care support for nursing students and newly graduated nurses. So it kind of starts early on in that nurse student's career. After the first semester of nursing, actually, we bring nurses, students in as professional nursing students, and working under nurses, they are given certain patient care type assignments. And the PNA that I'm speaking of is a paid position. And then the last 6 months of a nursing student's career, they go to a professional nursing assistant and given even more experience. That also is a paid position. And again, the goal is to help nursing students and newly nurse graduates develop those skills in a really safe and supported environment where they can grow and develop those skills. The subspecialties in our organization are many, and you heard Dr. Beach mention many of them, from inpatient and outpatient infection prevention and epidemiology, oncology, pediatrics, women and children's services, cardiovascular, gerontology, family medicine, internal medicine, critical care, emergency medicine, health informatics, nurses that work on the IT side. We have nurses that are IT analytics. We have nurse educators. We have nurse infusionists, nurse administrators, nurse practitioners. It's just wide and varied in terms of what you can do if you are a nurse.
Thank you so much. That was very, very informative. And there are a lot of questions that we're going to defer towards the end, which we'll ask you at that time. At this point, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Andruw Cain. Andruw is a shining example of an Averett University graduate who has excelled in the field of nursing. He works as an ICU ER nurse at Moses Cone Hospital in Greensboro. Andruw earned his Averett University degree in 2020 and was actively engaged on campus as an orientation leader, residential assistant, academic tutor, and a member of the Averett Cougar Band. So he took full advantage of the Averett campus life experience. He's also pursuing his Master of Science in Nursing with aspirations to become a critical care nurse practitioner. Please join me in welcoming Andruw Cain.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? We're good. Um, Thank you for the introduction. As he said, my name is Andrew. I am a nurse. I have had experience in both the ER and ICU. And as Dr. Beach has talked about, being a nurse provides a wide versatility of options for you to work into. I started off in the ER. I still managed working in the ER as well. I transitioned into cardiovascular ICU and specialized in taking care of patients in post cardiac bypass surgery, advanced heart failure, and a wide variety of cardiac complications. I recently, back in the spring, transitioned into the medical ICU and transitioned my focus more on patients with higher respiratory needs and just changing my scope of what I saw day to day. And doing that just helps build me as a person to then realize that I wanted to one day go back and get my nurse practitioner and work in the field of critical care. So nursing does provide you with many options, and you never feel like you have to be in one place the entire time when you start working. Since then, I have went on into further certifications. The TCRN is trauma certified. I found a passion for taking care of trauma patients and went on and took a further board examination to allow me to be certified to take care of trauma patients. And ECMO specialist is a type of modality that some hospitals have. And basically what that is a big machine that can take over a patient's complete heart function or lung function or both. And so I went on and found that specialty and now can add that to my toolkit of what I can do. My journey at Averett started in 2016. I knew nothing about Averett before Averett kind of came to my school, and I applied. And I remember Martin Luther King Day back in 2016, I visited Averett for the first time. And that experience was solidified where I was supposed to be. Visiting the school, but also visiting the nursing campus and seeing everything that they had to offer me made a huge impact. And then, I took on becoming an orientation leader and a resident assistant and being really engaged with the university and taking all the opportunities that they would have for me. And just being able to manage all that and know that Averett is home and it provides you with all the opportunities that you could ever have or ever want. If they're out there and they're there at Averett, you just have to be willing to take the step. Averett's impact prepared me to not only go into the field of nursing, but be confident and successful in the field that I am in. Averett prepared me, as Leslie said, I started working at Sovah as a nursing student, as in the professional nursing assistant role. And that provided me opportunities to prepare myself to go into the world of nursing once I finished. And I was so thankful that Sovah provided me that opportunity as well in the community to make an impact and to further my education in real life experiences outside of the classroom. And so the Averett's impact, I can honestly say I would not be a nurse today if it wasn't for Averett and the School of Nursing. The small class sizes and the one-on-one, attention that you get as a student, as well as the wide variety of clinical experiences. I can say from experience that the program itself shapes you to be a well-rounded nurse when you finish school, and having those experiences that are, you may not get everywhere, really come to play when you get out of school and you're in the field and you're working. You'll look back and say you're thankful for the experiences that you had. And I truly can say I'm thankful for Averett University for giving me those opportunities.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Appreciate it. Our last speaker is Mr. Matthew Mann, the Director of Admission at Averett University. He is a native of Danville, Virginia. Mr. Mann holds a special connection to Averett University, having graduated from the institution in 2008 with a BS degree in Global Marketing Management. Mr. Mann's commitment to university and his passion for helping prospective students is evident in his role as a Director of Admission. It is now my privilege to turn our attention to Mr. Mann.
Thank you, Dr. Novin, and good afternoon, good evening to everyone. We want to welcome you all again to Averett's nursing workshop. I'm going to discuss a little bit of things regarding applications and visits and all types of different things. I know there's been lots of questions in the chat. I'm going to try to hit on a lot of those as we get. This is going to kind of give you guys a little bit of a guideline of what I'm going to talk about. One is going to be things like visiting campus, exploring the school of nursing. You heard Andruw mention how important that visit was, solidifying his decision, his experience. We're going to talk a little bit about applications for admissions, what's important. I know there were some questions regarding school of nursing applications, so I'll touch on that. Some questions about financial aid, so definitely we'll hit on those things. And again, at that point, what's next and how to move forward. So we'll move slides and get right into it. So talking about the importance of the visit, there's many types of visits, but I want you, some of you all may or may not be able to see this chart, but as Dr. Beach mentioned, and we're kind of post-COVID now, and during COVID, lots of schools invested in really pretty websites and really pretty virtual tours, but you can see the data shows that students and families still want to see colleges with their eyes. It's very important that you all take the time to get on a college campus. So there's multiple types of ways to visit. So most of our families visit in a couple of different ways. One, they're going to choose to either visit in an open house. This is going to be something you're probably familiar with. It's going to be a big Saturday type event. Students that come, explore campus, take a tour, those types of things. You're also going to have scholarship events. One thing that we do a lot of are private visits where students come on campus and have more of a private experience. But one of the things I'm really happy to kind of showcase Averett as well are experience days. So there are lots of times you visit colleges and you get talking heads talking to you all day. You get a tour and you just kind of leave with a lot of information. Averett, we try to roll out experiences. So on November 17th, we have these specific day to nursing. It is again experience nursing day. You'll have lots of time to get hands-on experience with our nursing faculty. So I'm going to hit on some more of those things later on. During the visit, though, there's a couple of things that are really important that you should be thinking prior to going into the visit. So during the visit, like I said, first thing, you should think about what questions you're going to ask the college, right? These are those things like, what are your average class sizes? What are those application requirements? All those types of things that you've probably been asking multiple schools. Those are the things that you want to go into those visits prepared for. But what someone may or may not tell you is, what are the questions that you're asking yourself while you're there? Think about the questions that are important to you. Think about the things that are important that you find out for yourself while you're there. Do you like the culture, the people, the type of people you want to surround yourself with? All those things are really, really important in making that college decision. And lastly, after the campus visit, that's what we're going to get into next. This is when you start narrowing down your application. So you're not applying to 25, 30 schools. You've seen these colleges with your eyes. Now it's time to start narrowing down. So one of the big fallacies that I spend a lot of my time talking about is college is too expensive. I understand that many people see sticker prices and they get into it and they go, how does anyone in the world ever afford this? And so I'm going to talk to you guys about some ways that the college really is affordable. So at Averett, one thing that we're very, very fortunate to do is we actually offer a merit scholarship based completely on your academics at the time of admissions that just says, hey, you know what? Hard work pays off. We're going to put some value to this. This is based off of your GPA specifically. Lots of schools are going to offer some type of merit awards, but at Averett, they go as high as $20,000. There's not a cap on those. If you qualify for them, we're going to give them to you. So again, hard work pays off, so keep pushing forward. And like I said, those merit scholarships are out there for you. Also, visit grants. As Dr. Nolan mentioned, at Averett, we award $1,000 to any student who takes the time to come visit campus with us. So something that we are very fortunate enough to do. And so, like, again, an easy way of picking up money. Other schools are going to offer things like this, so don't be ashamed to ask. The admissions counselors and admissions team should be willing to share those things with you. Also, there's other grants and scholarships out there. Like, for example, we mentioned the Plexus Award. There's a specific scholarship just for attending this and then come into one of our events. If you enroll at Averett, there's awards out there for those. But the big thing I always tell students and families every time I talk about scholarships is going to come when it talks about competition and scholarships. Most people are going to think about those Coca-Cola scholarships and those big $10,000, $20,000 awards. Those are great. But you also have to remember the entire country is applying for those. So think local, think small, think churches, think organizations. Those little $250, $500 scholarships, they really do add up. And they're not going to have the competition that these big statewide or even national scholarships are going to have. The one thing I often tell families and students again when it comes to scholarships, use your counselors as a resource, whether it's admissions counselors, whether it's guidance counselors. We know not every office is created the same, but when organizations are looking for people to promote their scholarships, they're going to come to the guidance counselors at the college. So use those people as a resource because we're going to not lots of times know your locality scholarships, sometimes maybe better than you may know. So again, use us as a resource when it comes to that. And then last, when it comes to financial aid, everyone's heard that term FAFSA, F-A-F-S-A. It stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And it's very important, right? I understand that you've probably heard it. It sounds like a daunting form that you have to complete. There's a couple things I want you guys to know. First and foremost, when it comes to the FAFSA, whether you're looking in-state, out-of-state, public, private, community college, it does not matter. That money you receive from the federal government is going to be the same everywhere. This includes things like Pell Grant, work study, Stafford student loans. All those things are going to be the same. What's going to be different is going to be what the college awards outside of that. I can speak on behalf of Averett that I deal every day with families who look at me and go, I make too much money. There's no point in me doing a FAFSA. And trust me, there are lots of awards and in-house need-based monies that universities award families that are going to be outside of those parameters of what you're thinking. So again, take the time to do your FAFSA because again, you're going to leave money on the table. Last thing I'll mention about the FAFSA, again, you've probably heard it being this daunting type of form. The government has redone the FAFSA this year. It is not open yet. It should be opening within a month or so. But during that time, that FAFSA used to be about 140, 150 questions. The government has narrowed that FAFSA down to about 40 questions. So it has been slimmed down. It's bare bones. It links to your IRS tax data. So you should not have to come to your school with a bunch of tax documents and that kind of stuff in hand. You should be able to come right in and load all that right into the system. And so again, lots of ways of paying for college. But again, the one thing I often tell families is the private conversations, so don't hesitate to have those conversations with admissions teams or financial aid offices. Again, they're there as a resource to help. All right, so we've narrowed it down. We're ready to apply. What are we looking for? So since we're specifically talking about the School of Nursing, there's a couple things you all need to know. There's a two-step application process for most schools when it comes to nursing, and that's in Averett's no different. So first, you must apply to the university. What the university is looking for is around a 3.0 minimum GPA. Now, granted, we look at every application holistically, so don't think your GPA doesn't qualify you for admissions. So please, like I said, you can just submit that. We in the admissions counselor, we in the admissions office are going to kind of help you guys sort that process out. But you're going to see things during the admissions process at other schools like essays and references, and just know not every school is going to ask for those. But the one thing I encourage you all to have some of those pre-written and have your references pre-checked out. Those are things you guys should have sorted out before your applications. That way you guys can just go. There's nothing you have to worry about. Write essays for every application and those types of things. Also, you're going to see the language test optional quite a bit. I know I got quite a few questions in the chat about SAT scores and ACT scores. Lots of schools don't think those are indicators of who you are as a student, right? It might be the Saturday you sat down for a test or something along those lines after a football game or after homecoming. So those transcripts are really going to tell us who you are as a student. And so when admissions committees look at applications, we really do look at, again, what you're doing in high school, are you taking college preparatory load, and that type of thing. Now, the School of Nursing application, what we're here for. So I got some questions regarding prerequisites, pre-nursing, because as Dr. Beach mentioned, students at Averett come in as pre-nursing. That first year, you must take all of your prerequisites to get into the School of Nursing. You will apply to typically the second semester of your freshman year, and there's some things that we're going to work on to get you to your application. These are going to be required classes. So things like biology, microbiology, anatomy, physiology 1 and 2. There's also math classes, things like statistics. Also, there might be some classes you may not be expecting, like psychology courses. There's developmental psych, things like that that are required for the School of Nursing. So you're going to spend your freshman year taking those pre-nursing courses. My professional advice is, if you're able to, regarding those students taking AP courses and dual enrollment courses, is to take as many of those science, especially biology, while you're in high school. Now, granted, they must be college bearing credits, so dual enrollment or AP, but really encourage you all, if you want a leg up, to take college level bio before coming in. that allows you to get right into it. And you, like I said, you kind of have sorted out some things and explored already. And this is kind of what you want to do. So again, like there's some different application processes when it comes to the School of Nursing. In addition to that, I got a lot of questions about testing. So one the test that's required for the School of Nursing is the TEAS test, TEAS. This is the test. It's a general aptitude test that most schools of nursing are going to require. We do some proctoring here on campus, but again, the School of Nursing kind of walks you through that. It helps out. So I'm happy to answer more questions and chat about nursing requirements. Again, I can sort that out. The last thing I would leave you all with is going to be dates and deadlines. We're right in the thick of things when it comes to college applications. So look for things like rolling admissions, early decision, those types of things. Those have meaning. So for Averett, we're what's called rolling admissions, which we read applications every day. We're not making you wait around for months to find out a decision. Like I said, we're on top of it. So lots of information here. I know I'm happy to stay in the chat and answer any questions you guys have regarding admissions processes or questions. I really decided years ago when I started working behind this desk that I was going to pull the veil off of this. And so I know lots of admissions committees hide behind that. So we're very upfront, honest with our families about how this process works. So I'm, again, happy to be fully transparent and answer as many questions as I can. Thank you all again for being here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mann. I want to thank our excellent speakers. We have some ways to go. And I've noticed that there's been over 92 comments and questions so far, over 152 participants, but hang in there for a few more minutes as we go through this process. So we're going to talk about the November 17th campus visit. Mr. Mann is going to walk us through what you could expect as part of that. But first, let me turn to a question to one of our panelists, to each one of our panelists. So the first one is for Dr. Beach, which is around, do you have an LPN to RN bridge program at Averett?
No, we don't at this time. We do not.
Okay, another thing that was actually posted towards you, Dr. Beach, was to talk a little bit more about the pre-nursing program into the nursing program. How could someone even be more prepared to be considered for this program, given all the hard courses that you mentioned?
Well, besides that, they could find them some work to do in healthcare professions, such as working as aides and things of that nature, to be around the healthcare system, to see how it works. You'd be surprised how many things would come to light. Many of our students sometimes have worked as nursing assistants, and then they come in, and a lot of the things that we start doing, of course, it's going to be more in depth, but it gives you a little bit of an increase in knowledge of the profession. The other thing that we offer here at Averett is we have when you come in, there's a college course called IDS that is for to get acquainted with college life. And so we have our nursing faculty that has we follow the IDS course core, but then we teach it. Those that are interested in pre-nursing can sign up to be in that particular section. And we go over more specific things of how to be successful and how to prepare yourself for the rigors of coming into the nursing program.
Thank you so much. The next question I have is for Ms. Sturdivant. How hard is it to get hired by Sovah Health after getting a degree from a university such as Averett? Could you talk to the participant about that process and how selective are you?
So I will say that typically once an individual finishes their clinical training, their nursing program, and then they're kind of studying to take those boards, we're really recruiting someone who has those other skills that I mentioned, because it's almost a given that once they finish their nursing training and they pass their boards that clinically they're where they need to be. We're already in a mode of looking to help them to further develop those skills in a very supported environment. But those skills around communication and compassion and empathy, and being critical thinkers, those are the kind of things we're recruiting for. And from a recruitment for nurses today, no matter where you go, you're gonna, for the most part, nurses have positions before they actually graduate. So it's not very difficult at all to be able to have a good position before they graduate. What we do here in the hospital, even in our clinics, is even before an individual gets into a nursing program, we offer shadowing in the different areas and hospitals and clinics so that students can actually come in and have a shadowing opportunity, whether that's a week or 2 weeks or even a day, just to kind of shadow our nurses in different areas to kind of get a feel for what our nurses are doing to make sure that that's something they really want to do. And then again, once they get into that program, to bring them in as professional nursing students, and then professional assistant nursing interns, to kind of get them acclimated to the environment, to engage them in relationships with other staff and providers. And then hopefully once they graduate, we've created an environment where they want to stay here and work for us.
Thank you so much. The next question is from Mr. Cain. Andruw, could you talk a little bit about how you were looking for a university, you're exploring your option, and why did you choose Averett over other universities you were considering?
Yes, so I have an older brother that went to college before I did, and we were very much my parents and stuff were, you have to go see the school to make a decision. And when Averett came to my school, I did not know anything about it, didn't know where Danville, Virginia was, did not know, never heard of it. And so I came to the school and visited. And the things that really stood out to me about Averett that made me realize that this was going to be my future was, the first time I ever visited was on Martin Luther King Day. They had a big student invitation for people to come. And I got to go to the School of Nursing. And at the time in my high school, I took a CNA class that prepared me to go into the field of nursing. It's not required at Averett to be a CNA or anything like that to get into the nursing program, but it did provide me with that spark of interest to go into nursing. And when I made it over to the nursing campus, it was home. When I walked in the door and I saw the technology that they were using, and the knowing that my class sizes were going to be small, I've always had viewed myself when I originally started looking at schools as going to a big, prestigious, world-renowned school with 20, 30, 50,000 kids. And that just wasn't reality. Once I got to really looking what was important to me, it was individuality. And that was what Averett provided. And from my first visit to my second to my third until starting, every time I went there, whether it was, Dr. Beach or other professors in Averett's nursing program, they remembered who I was by my first and last name. And so when you see thousands and thousands and thousands of kids coming through your door, and do you really know them? And from one visit to starting there, my name was there. And that's just from, one encounter to the second to the third, to making my decision that was there. And for someone to be able to look at me, knowing that I know that as Averett sees many of thousands of kids there, something must have stood out to them, but it also was that they took the time to get to know me more than just, oh, you're a potential student. They really invested in you as soon as you walked in the door and tried to make you feel like this is where we're excited to have you. We want you here. And so I think wherever you go, whatever school provides that opportunity for you, I think that that's what you should look forward to. Is this somewhere you can call home, and will they remember you when you get there?
It sounds like the campus visit was pivotal in actually seeing the facilities and everything. Thank you so much. The question for Mr. Mann. Matthew, you mentioned that the FAFSA date has changed. One student asked, with that changing, when will I know what my financial package will look like this year?
So that's a great question. So again, with the FAFSA changes, we are still kind of learning from the government with you all. So when it comes to the time of it, we're still kind of waiting out on what that would be. I can speak on behalf of Averett that as soon as that FAFSA rolls out, we're prepared to start sending out financial aid packages day one. That said, Averett has invested in what's called an early aid estimator. This is different than the federally mandated net price calculator. This is something that's built specifically for us that families who are interested in, you can go ahead and start putting in some of that FAFSA information. It'll actually kind of spit you out an estimated financial aid kind of reward. So if you're trying to get some ideas and start planning, there's schools have invested things like that. But I know Averett was kind of at the forefront asking for those types of things. Financial aid packages will come out sometime in January. But like I said, Averett has invested in some software that will allow you to kind of get some ideas now. And so I'm happy to share that with you all as well.
I will include the link for the estimator on the Q&A right after the meeting. We're going to keep the meeting going. So a couple of things. The campus tour is on November 17th. Matthew, could you talk a bit about what students could expect to see during this campus visit? And Andruw, feel free to chime in the middle because you've been through this, but let's talk about what this experience, this immersive experience is going to be like on November 17th.
Yeah, absolutely. We're super excited about this day. So as you've heard over and over from the panel tonight, that experience does matter, right? Getting exposure, getting your hands dirty, and understanding that nursing is a field that you want to do, right? And so even from Sovah, they talked about offering shadowing opportunities early on, all the way through clinicals while you're here. But one thing that we do, like I said, when it comes to this November 17th event, it's going to be something that is not going to be just a tour and panel and you walk away with a pretty brochure and a bunch of information you're being told. You're walking away with an experience. You're walking away understanding this is something that you want to do. So this day includes things like IV simulations like you see here, things like obviously stethoscopes, but what are you listening for, right? Listen to heart and lung sounds, understanding what that means and what the science behind that. As you see below some of our high fidelity mannequins, these things, they have everything from they talk to you, they breathe, they sweat, they bleed. I know a lot of them, they have the ability to change eye colors, which can lots of times be indicators of certain health things, right? So all those stimulations are kind of going to be offered. In addition, I know one of the kind of fan favorites is when it comes to the mother-daughter unit. So if you flip next photo, I'll show you guys some ideas of some of the nursery units, things along those lines. But more importantly, I want you guys to notice something. On this right side of this screen, these are not current Averett students. These are actually campus visitors. So these are students like yourself who will be coming to campus and kind of doing some of those things, getting some hands-on experience. So really excited about the day. Obviously, we want you guys to see campus, talk to us, eat lunch, all those types of fun things. But more importantly, we want you all to leave with a nursing experience. We want you all to leave getting your hands dirty and understanding what nursing means and the exciting career that it can be.
One of the things I do want to point out, having interacted with the wonderful staff at Averett, their commitment to equity and diversity is incredible, right? So we want to make it really easy for everyone to come a day at Averett. We're also providing an extra $50 for food, transportation, lunch to make this trip to see us worthwhile. It is as much of a guaranteed career path as there is out there. So really visiting the state-of-the-art facilities is incredible. And if you're out there, you should also check out the airport and the aviation program as well that they're renowned for. But I'm happy that we had over 150 attendees. We hope that all of you really take the trip to Averett and see this for yourself. I want to thank our panelists, the Plexus team who put all this together along with the Averett team. We look forward to see you on the November 17th as well. We'll keep the Q&A open until there are no more questions. So even though the cameras might be off, but if you have questions, further questions, please stay on, and the team will be here to answer those. But with that, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Beach, Ms. Sturdivant, Mr. Cain, Mr. Mann, and the entire team, and wishing everyone a great evening. Thank you very much.